Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, July the 9th. Savor Every Bite That You Eat. That's the name of her new book. And I'm talking about Lynn Rossy, Mindful Eating. Good to have you here.
Well, it's good to see you, Paul.
It's been a while since you've been with us.
It has been a while. I was off writing my book, and now I'm back.
Okay, so the book, Savor Every Bite. Let's see, it's got to be about eating, and eating only when you're hungry.
Well, so it's about mindful eating, it's about mindful moving, and it's about mindful living. Okay. But it is based on my experience of teaching my 10-week mindful eating class called Eat for Life. Mm-hmm. And so it's divided into 5 sections, and they're little 10 chapters under each section with a little savoring practice at the end of each one. So it's kind of one of those books where you pick it up and you just read a little bit, and then there's a practice that you do.
Like what?
Well, so one of the practices is to just simply notice your breath. And to...
Notice what?
Your breath.
Notice your breath.
Yeah, so it helps you to slow down. So I kind of joke that I got my PhD in psychology just to teach people to breathe, because people don't really breathe and they're not aware of their breath. And if we would slow down and take a mindful breath... Do that right now, Paul. Don't you feel better already?
Oh, yeah. Actually, you do. Take a... Okay, try it.
Let's do it again. Here we go.
Wait a minute. But if people are driving in the car, is it okay?
Keep your eyes open. Here we go.
All right. Just take a deep breath in. It kind of like a rush to your head.
Isn't it? It's
it is.
Yeah, it's a natural way of getting high.
Yeah.
Is you bring oxygen into your body. Isn't that great? So it also helps you to slow down. So the first section is actually called Slow Down and Explore Your Senses. You know, we live our lives unaware of smelling, tasting, seeing, touching, feeling, listening, because we're so busy, caught in our heads about what we need to get done, and we're busy.
And we're busy looking at these little things that we hold in our hands.
So actually, that's one of my savoring practices.
Put down the phone.
Yeah, one of my savoring practices in this section is when you go to pick up your phone, that's your bell of mindfulness. Before you check Facebook, email, whatever else you do, take a breath and just notice your body. Because your body is constantly telling you when it needs to rest, when it needs to go for a walk or stretch, when it needs to eat, when it needs to have a drink of water, when it needs to do all kinds of things. But we cut ourselves off from the innate wisdom of the body. And so one of the things that I do a lot of is to help people get embodied so that they really have a relationship with their body instead of living from the neck up, in your thoughts. Thinking, right? That's most people's existence is up in their heads. And we want to drop into our bodies and really feel it's telling you when it wants to eat. It's telling you when it wants to stop eating. It's telling you whether it likes the food that you're eating or not, right? Mm-hmm. One of the most profound things I've ever heard people say to me is after a week of practicing mindful eating, I have people come back and go, I don't even like what I eat. I just hadn't noticed before.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? You can eat your entire life and not really taste the food that you're eating because we're so busy doing other things and we're distracted. All right? So the second chapter, let's go ahead and move on because I know we only have 10 minutes, Paul, is about how do you soothe yourself without food. So many people are eating because they're bored, eating because they're sad, eating because they're lonely, eating because, it's just something to do.
Or eating because they think it's time to eat.
Right, it's time to eat.
It's time to eat.
Yeah.
If you're not hungry, don't eat.
Yeah, exactly. Eat when you're hungry. Don't eat when you're not hungry, in general. Now, there's going to be times
I mean,
when
you got to have some kind of structure there because if you want to eat with the family, you sit down and you eat at a certain time.
Exactly. But if you start having a structure like that, you're going to be hungry. I mean, I get hungry at least every 4 or 5 hours, if not before. And so I give myself something to eat.
But the other thing is, if you're going to somebody's house for dinner, and, they've worked so hard and they've made all this food and they're trying to push this food on you to eat.
I know.
How do you gracefully not hurt anyone's feelings and say, this is really delicious, but I am full?
Okay, so their feelings are their responsibility. So we have a lot of people who are very codependent, okay? So you can say no, and if they can't accept that you're trying to honor your own body's wisdom and not eat until you're overly full and don't feel good, then they're not a very good friend, right? And they're doing that because they're trying to get, some kind of satisfaction out of having all their food
Well,
eaten.
but in all fairness, I know people who really, they're not trying to offend you, but they really think you don't eat enough, and
I know, but
you got to eat more. Oh,
Yeah.
come on, I cooked this. You got to eat more. They're not trying to offend you. You would hurt their feelings if you're not careful.
Well, you can do it gracefully. And sometimes I take the food and just don't eat it all. So you can take it, put it on your plate, and then just put your napkin over the plate or something, right?
They're going to see it when they clean the table.
But seriously,
Right.
I know people that if you just take the food, whether you finish it or not, they don't care. Just put it on your plate.
Yeah, or just gracefully say, you know what? I'm really trying to. This is delicious.
Exactly.
This is absolutely delicious, but I got to.
I can't eat another bite.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you have to kind of learn how to set boundaries
Right.
with people, right? Otherwise, if you just always do what people want you to do, you're not going to have very good boundaries.
That's why you got to learn to say no.
Yes.
You have to learn to say no.
N-O. No, thank
Without being
you.
rude.
No, thank you.
Is that part of mindfulness?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You know.
You know what? Something else. I don't know if you touch on this, but listening not just to your body, but to your intuition. What your subconscious is telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And I found, Lynn, that if I listen to what these hunches are
Right.
that I get,
Yes.
those hunches are usually right.
They're usually very good.
99% of the time, they are correct. And if I go with those hunches, even though it may seem like it's not the right thing to do, it turns out to be the right thing to do.
Yeah, and in order, you call it hunch, I call it intuition, or I call it inner wisdom. And when you practice mindfulness, you will have those moments of intuition more often, because if you allow yourself a little bit of time of quiet where you're just sitting with your breath, with your body, with everything that's going on, without doing anything else,
Right.
then you have this space in which for wisdom to arise.
Yeah, I get these feelings all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they just shoot into my head. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. And if I listen to what I got,
Yes.
it's right.
Yeah.
It happened to me last week. The book is called Savor Every Bite. How can they get it?
Well, they can go to your local bookstore here at
Yeah.
Skylark, or you can get it online, or you can get it at the local library.
Or you can check out Lynn Rossy's website at lynnrossy.com.
All right.
Thank you, Lynn Rossi.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.